I can't wait. The playoffs tip off this weekend, and Victor Wembanyama, we get to see him in the postseason for the very first time in his career. And in just his third year, he's put up averages, 25 points, 11 rebounds, over 3 blocks a game. Those numbers we haven't seen since prime Shaquille O'Neal in 2000. Now, Shaq's postseason play, of course, it's legendary. 3 titles with the Lakers. He's got 1 with Miami. But his first shot at the playoffs, that was with the Orlando Magic team that got swept in round 1 by the 5-seed Indiana Pacers. And Victor, he will play his first postseason game this weekend against the Blazers. And we're going to see how he can carry the Spurs, how far they can go. But it was actually another Hall of Fame center that gave him one key piece of advice. He said, don't wait.
Our eyes have never seen anything at the level that we're seeing it with Victor Wembanyama.
Wemby shakes, takes, and slams.
The mindset is the most important thing, in my opinion.
We're seeing his off-season work translate directly to his game. And it should almost always be yes, because that's who Victor Wembanyama has proven to be. I do want to go back to that line, though. He said that Hakeem told him. He said, you don't need to wait to win. You don't need to wait to win. Iman, do you think that that's true for Victor and the Spurs?
I think anything that you can get from Hakeem the Dream is money. You know what I mean? But I really do, though. It's something that, you know, I don't want to say it because as a student of the game, the history says nobody this young can do it, especially not a young team overall. And when I look at their roster, I'm forced to, you know, have to be real about it. They actually do have some things that I think cancel out. I think the playoff jitters that come, they still have a great defensive backcourt. I think that their backcourt is underrated in all the things that they do to pressure the other side. I think that every time you play them, you have to deal with a tremendous amount of pressure of them getting downhill because they have a Victor Wembanyama. They know that they can get to the basket, and just in case they draw 2, they can just throw it up there to the rim. It just puts your defense under so much pressure. I think that they are going to walk through a lot of the Western Conference, but, you know, it'll be nice to see when they have to match up with OKC.
I feel bad for Donovan Clingan. I do. This kid is a really good young big in the league. It's also his first taste of the playoffs. And he comes in with a resume. You know, he won a championship at UConn alongside Stephon Castle.
Yep.
He's got to deal with this, though, his first time in the NBA playoffs. And the one thing you absolutely know, no question about Victor Wembanyama, he loves the bright lights. He loves the stage. He's not going to be intimidated by him. He's played in a gold medal game in Paris against Team USA and put on a show. And, man, no big is suited to guard Wemby. If he hits a 3, knocks down a 3 or 2 early, forget about it. Because you think Clingan's ever had to close out to a guy 28 feet from the hoop who can pump fake and put it on the floor like that? It's not a fair fight.
And the way that he goes to work on these sorts of things is so interesting. Go ahead, Shumps.
Yeah, and you have full throttle Victor Wembanyama potentially in the postseason, because in season, I mean, he didn't even hit fully 40 minutes in a game.
Yeah.
He averaged under 30 minutes over the course of the season. And that was all my understanding is, and you talk to people in San Antonio, is they always are long-term health of their player. And we know he missed time with an injury in December, several weeks. And so making sure he's right for this moment, he's eligible for all the awards. So that's not the question. Now it's just, this is the time he wants to compete for a championship.
And the question is, again, it comes down to how much experience do you need before you have the experience? It was what we were asking about Oklahoma City last year. Of course, it's a little bit more acute for San Antonio, who their starters have a collective 7 games of postseason experience, and they all belong to De'Aaron Fox and that 7-game series against Golden State. It's been 50 years since a team's leading scorer led their team to a championship in their first postseason. So that is what Victor Wembanyama, that's the task that he is hoping to do here. And then he's going to go play rugby. Did you catch that part? All right.
I recommend no on that.
To some news now. The league did announce LaMelo Ball's been fined $35,000. He was also given a flagrant 2 for unnecessary and reckless contact. That's what the league's calling it, against Bam Adebayo in Tuesday's play-in game. He was fined, actually, an additional $25,000 for using profane language. In Philadelphia, Orlando was in town, but it was Tyrese Maxey who was bringing the magic here. We're going to pick this one up with under 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Maxey steps back, drains that 3, and then a minute later, Maxey, faking out Jalen Suggs up top, driving to the basket. Tough move there by Maxey, Tim.
He's got some jets.
Suggs swings it to Desmond Bane. Knocks down the three. That's why they brought him in. Bane had a game-high 35 points in this one. 35? Sure, we'll go with that. Under 4 minutes left in the fourth. Maxey drives into the lane, banks the tough layup. He's just taken over in this frame, Tim. Suggs pushing the floor. But there's Maxey on the block. Maxey doing everything in this one. Let's take one more look at that.
One of the most athletic guards in the league, and he can shoot it from 30.
VJ Edgecombe had it, though, if he didn't, right? And then Andre Drummond in the corner. He had a couple of those. The Sixers go on to clinch the 7th seed. They get the win. But let's take a listen to Paolo Banchero because they got one more chance.
Yeah, they're been playing really well. You know, they've kicked our ass this year. So we got to be ready. I got to be ready. And, you know, we have to be locked in from the jump. You know, I thought we played hard tonight, but it wasn't enough. And so it's going to take, you know, even more of an effort. And it's going to take, you know, me playing better as well, you know, for us to get the win. So it's definitely a big game on Friday.
All right, well, here are the stats behind that statement from Paolo Banchero on their next matchup with the Hornets. Charlotte, they took 3 of 4 from the Magic this season during the regular season. All 4 games, they were decided by 15 or more points. Orlando's lone win, that was all the way back in October. So that game is tomorrow for a chance at the Pistons, and the final playoff spot is on the line. Orlando, they had such high hopes, though, I think, coming into the season. They had such high expectations. Iman, what do you think has gone wrong for them?
Well, with Orlando, I think that they just lack accountability. When you look at them, you see them throughout the game have those moments where it's like somebody huddle these guys together and get everybody on the same page. There's just a lot of times that they're all seem like they have different agendas going. And especially in a game like this where you're playing against a Paul George, a Tyrese Maxey, Andre Drummond, guys with playoff experience, period. They know how to key in. They know how to make big plays. They know how to make things happen. I felt like the Sixers were just a more together team. More swing passes, more kickouts, more in-and-out threes, as opposed to, you know, dribble, solo drives, ISOs on the wing. It just seemed like everything didn't go the way that it was supposed to go for the Magic, and I don't want to have to see Desmond Bane have to bail them out. For that third and a little bit of that fourth quarter, it just seemed like Desmond Bane didn't feel like losing. But if I see my friend or my brothers over there getting jumped when he get off the bus, I'm going to come over there and at least huddle up to get a plan together, man. He's fighting everybody with one hand behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, they brought him in to be the bucket getter down the stretch, but certainly not the only one. And I don't want to turn this into a posthumous conversation about Orlando because they still got another shot, right? They do have one more shot to get into the postseason here. But it does, the tenor around the league, it feels like the conversation is Jamal Mosley may be coaching for his job here.
And Charlotte's a nice little layover for them on a trip to Cancun, right? And there's nothing magical about this Orlando season. This has been miserable. Let's just be honest. And Paolo Banchero and Jamal Mosley, they haven't been on the same page. They've been headbutting. That's been well known. They've done it in press conferences at times this year. And there's certainly a wide expectation around the league that Jamal Mosley is in serious jeopardy of losing his job. I will say this, if that does happen, he will be a candidate for at least one other job immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm also just going to point out that Paolo Banchero has yet to prove in this league that he can drive winning. He said it himself. He's got to play much better because that was a terrible performance by a max salary face the franchise.
Well, and they're going to have another shot. Go ahead, Chubb.
If I could add this. For Paolo, the biggest problem with what I saw from him down the stretch, he did not seem concerned with making sure he got the ball and made things happen. At the end of a game, you start to see the guy that most of the responsibility falls on their shoulders. Whether they had a good game or not is irrelevant once it becomes time for winning and it comes time for crunch time. They figure out a way to get involved in the game no matter how they have to do it, and they make sure they put their team as well as their self in successful positions to where at the very least they're shooting free throws to keep their team in it. And I just think he strayed away from that. Is he a bad player? No. Do we expect a whole lot from you? Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's why I don't know, regardless of what happens tomorrow against the Hornets, and regardless of their coaching, if they decide to make a change, the Orlando Magic are going to have different conversations about what else they'll need to do up and down the roster. But again, that's a conversation for a little bit later. We get a Sixers-Boston Celtics series. That we know for sure. What we don't know is whether or not we're going to see Joel Embiid in that series. What do you know here, Shams?
Look, my understanding is the Sixers are preparing for battle against the Celtics without Joel Embiid, at least to start the series. He's only a week-ish removed from surgery for that appendicitis.
Yeah.
And so he's very much in the recovery phase of this. Once you recover, then you have to have a separate rehab part of the process as well. And so this is a serious issue that Joel Embiid had a week ago. He's still trying to recover. Good news for the Sixers, though. He was with the team last night at the arena, at the game, for the first time since the surgery.
Okay, so that's good. He's up, he's moving. It's just so unlucky having to deal with getting your appendix taken out on top of all the injuries that he's had. But